Hello all you hardcores out there, how you doing? It's Big P here. You know, don't you? You know. Well, we've seen it all and heard it all, haven't we now? Eh? Robert Hilarious is going to ice Joshua, then ice Wilder in rematch, then go after Usyk and Fury. Well, they had to say something to sell it, didn't they? Hey, but don't worry, it's not on pay-per-view. That makes everything alright, doesn't it? It's not on pay-per-view. Pay-per-poo. Hey? You couldn't make it up. The good thing is though, has everybody been on the website? At Arena where the fight's at? Look at all them seats that were sold, right? They're now all back. They're now all back, aren't they? All empty. So they're going to have to get alt lighting sorted, aren't they? Or so it looks full, or give alt tickets away. In middle of London, eh? Spotty Frank handing free tickets out. Eh? Unbelievable, isn't it? You couldn't make it up, could you? Eh? But has anybody noticed how many interviews they've done to drown out everybody else? Now when you've got platforms and you've got YouTubers hanging out the back of you can get your point across, can't you? Look at the interviews they've done. Over 82 interviews up to this morning. Spotty Frank Eubank. Oh, Spotty Frank. And Eddie Hill's the Iceman. Eh? You couldn't make it up, the nonsense these people are chatting. You couldn't make it up. Talk about drowning out people. But the problem we've got is this. I think Bricktop would have a showdown with Hills, but Hills don't fancy it, does he? You know, he's alright running rings around Simon Jordan. Simon Jordan's football, isn't he? He knows football inside out. He doesn't know boxing. What I mean by that, you may have seen my video where I roasted Bricktop yesterday. You know Bricktop. I've got plenty more Bricktop stories about paying fighters, and I Bricktop. You want me to put all them on channel? We'll save them for now, but there's a few parked up, a few corkers. Yeah. But Simon Jordan doesn't know boxing, like I said in that video. If a boxer don't get paid and he starts telling tales to the Boxing Board of Control, do you think that promoter, right, do you think that promoter's going to put him on another show? No. Gets parked up. That's what happens, you'll get parked up. So, so Simon Jordan, stick to boxing. Stick to football, sorry. You can have a go at boxing, but you're going to have to learn your craft. Do you know what I mean? It's not a governed sport like the FA, like football is by FA. For example, if there's a problem with football, FA deal with it. It's governed. In boxing, it's a wild, wild west, son. You're wet behind ears as regards boxing. You remind me of me when I started up at Dennis Hobson's, Big Ron's. And I was like, oh, so-and-so haven't been paid. What do? Do we email board, or what happens? Oh, it'll get sorted, it'll get sorted. Well, it says here in rule book that we're supposed, no, leave it with me, I'll phone me, it'll all work out. That's what you're up against. It's like promoter's little club, innit? Hey. Hey, and eventually the fighter will take anything, won't he? If he's not been paid for a month or so. So, do you know what I mean? That's what happens. People need to go and ask Michael Gomez Senior about when he went storming down to Bricktops. Ask Michael that one about payment for his lad. Oh yeah. Or Sam Sheedy when he fought Langford. His wages weren't paid on time. What, they all Perth? Why is that? What bullshit excuse did they give? I'll tell you. Oh, when we knocked on the door to tell you 5 minutes to come out for the fight, you were late. What are you on about? What a load of rubbish. Oh, check your contract. It affects adverts on Box Nation. I've got a list here, as long as Johnny Nelson's arm. Listen, they can all tell tales, all that lot. Johnny Nelson will tell you some corkers about Bricktop, but they're too frightened, aren't they? I'm not. I'm not. I'm fearless. Isn't that right? Bricktop. Hey? The sooner these people that run out of the sport, the better. The sooner we get government to come in and look at this lot and say, do you know what? This ain't right. What's going on? This ain't right. And like I said, if you want to start ringing my sponsors up, causing aggravation, well, that dog won't hunt. But getting back to the weekend's action, did anybody see Campbell Hands of Foam Hatton? Hands of Foam meaning can't punch. Did anybody see his interview? Well, he's going to be 13-0 after tomorrow. 13-0 with nowhere near a title fight. Nowhere near. Hey? Is that a gimmick? Too right it's a gimmick, but what did TalkSport do when they had him on? Tickled his arsehole. Tickled his arsehole. Nobody mentioned about the gift he had. Gift? Oh God. Spoon-fed. Spoon-fed like his father. Spoon-fed. Keep that money coming in. Hey? Keep that money coming in. I hope Johnny Fisher gets an area belt, Southern area belt. But that's a gift as well, isn't it? Let's have it right. Spoon-fed. And yet he's calling out Joshua for clicks and views. Do me a favour. Pull the other one, it's got bells on it. Hey? Oh, man. Oh, God. Unbelievable. We've got Bricktop on Simon Jordan's show going on about his son Fat Francis, you know, the housewife's favourite, how he's got a big stable of fighters. How's he got a big stable of fighters? I'll tell you now. When people sign with Bricktop, he just says, yeah, you've got to be managed by him, my son. That's it. It's a bit like Don King, innit? And Carl King, his stepson, controlling Tim Witherspoon. That's all. All Francis is doing is just legwork, innit? Bricktop's controlling everything. Now do you see a pattern how these things work? Hey? Oi! Oi! Lunatic! That's how things work in boxing. There's ways around everything, isn't there? But these people, these two families are killing sport. Do you know why? They can't even get the fights on that we want. I mean, are we going around in circles here wanting Fury and Joshua? Joshua's shot to pieces already and Fury ain't got long left. So it's gone from us, hasn't it? It's gone from us. It's not going to be a Riddick Bowe, is it? Holyfield. We're not going to get out like that, are we? Or a Fraser Ali. Them fights are every, I don't know, 20, 30 year, aren't they? But when we're going to get one like that, we're not going to get them, are we? Not while you've got these lot in charge, and now you've got the Saudis hanging about like a bad smell. Let's have it right, like a bad smell. Everybody's lost their minds, haven't they? Hey, they're all screaming and shouting about how great it is in Saudi Arabia. Well, let's see a couple of them get locked up over there. But to keep putting shows on over there, they'll not say it's so great there, then will they? Hey? I know people that have been locked up there for very minor offences, and they'll never go back. Trust me. They'll never go back. Their judicial system's a lot different to ours. But boxing's a poo feast at the moment. When people like Phil Jeffries are handing the licensing, stalwarts at North East promoting, you've got a problem, haven't you? Phil's had that licence 15 years, you've been putting shows on 15 years up north. He said he's done with it. Done with it. How can you make a shilling now with what border control they're charging? We're in a global recession here, we're just coming out of a pandemic. But the British Boxing Board of Control, they've decided to put prices up like you do. Yeah, that's what they're doing, like you do. How can you make anything on a show now with all them prices? How can small old boxing survive? Hey, can you imagine them all sat around that big table? What are we on here? Can you imagine them all sat around a big table and somebody says, I've got an idea. Why don't we put the prices up for all our staff on the night, licence holders, and get them more money? And everybody will say, yeah, what, £100 a person? Yeah, that's great, that. Plus they get their expenses. And they go, yeah, that's a great idea. That, can we have a second on the motion? Aye. Everybody put their hands up. Right, that's what we're going to charge. And that's it. That's how things are done. It's like when you go up in front at border control. When I went up in front at border control, first thing he said to me, well, have you ever been in trouble with police? I went, not for anything worth bragging about. I knew what were coming, because they had it all in front of them, didn't he? I thought, do you know what I mean? How can you deal with these people? How can you deal with anybody like that? When Peter Fury went for his licence, he sat in front of him, and they said, Smith said to him, Peter, do you still see any of your old friends from old neighbourhood? You know what he's getting at there, don't you? Meaning, Peter is still bang at it. So Peter's gone. This is a true story, this. What's that got to do with being a trainer? You know, you're a fucking blowjob. He didn't get his licence, he had to get an Irish one for years. He's got one now, but that is a true story. Hey, that's a true story, that. I've heard even worse than that. It's like going up in front of governor, innit, on a Sunday morning on a nicking in jail. You sit at the end of a big table and the governor's there, and he's going to say, yeah, no canteen a week, 7 days solitary confinement, and blah de blah. You know, your life's in their hands, innit? Well, it's like that with boxing, innit? You go up in front of them. This old boys club, that's what it is. An old boys club. Alright. Anyway, don't forget to join me in part 2.